Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Health E-commerce Friday Live podcast. I'm your host, Amy Kading, Technical Product Manager and Marketing Services Director here at Get Healthy. And we're going live every Friday to discuss growing the business of health and wellness. Today, we're going to shift our focus to a very important part of digital marketing, specifically email marketing, and why healthy email lists equal healthier clients. Our special guest this week is our Director of Marketing, Courtney Bell. Welcome, Courtney, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Amy.
We always talk internally. Courtney knows everything about everything. Like, your knowledge is so valuable, and so is your time. So thank you for taking the time to chat this week. Really excited to kind of do more marketing side of our little chit chat. So this should be pretty interesting for everybody.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited. Let's hop in.
Awesome. All right. So working here and managing the Get Healthy marketing efforts, what is your biggest takeaway from email marketing?
Yeah, so obviously social is super prevalent right now, but email is still very much alive. And it's still, studies continually show that it's still a super effective way to not only communicate with your customers, but market to them. And there's been studies that say there was a media company that did a study with wellness and health professionals, and the results showed that their revenue increased by 13 and up to 30% just from email flows and campaigns. Yeah. So it's still really, really important, even though obviously social is also very important. But we're going to focus on emails today. And so speaking of that one of the biggest things that ties into that is your email list and the health of your email list. And this is something that is super important and was a huge aha moment for me, because your email list can either really hurt your business or really help it.
Right.
I've worked for companies that, basically when their email list kind of got neglected, it impacted their domain, their email domain. And then nobody in the company was able to send any emails or receive any emails. So, yeah, not good. So, it can affect your business in more ways than you might realize. So it's incredibly important to either work with your marketing team to address this or address it yourself. So we're going to kind of go through today how you can address some of the most common things in email and mistakes and that sort of thing. So that was an aha moment for me, how impactful your email list health can be. And then the other thing was, segmenting. And if you don't know what segmenting is, we're going to kind of define it in a minute. But basically, if you aren't getting your emails to the right people at the right time, it can also really affect your business. And especially as a health practitioner, you are a trusted resource for your clients. And when you send to the same list all the time, you send maybe not as valuable content to the same list all the time, people who don't necessarily care about all the emails and all the things that you send, then they're going to maybe stop opening your emails. And then you don't get that information to them. And kind of everything breaks down from there, right?
Yeah.
So segmenting is incredibly important to really help you get that message to the right people at the right time. And that translates into healthier clients for you because your trusted relationship is reinforced and you're also getting them the right things at the right time.
Right. So important. So many companies that I've worked at too are like, it wasn't even a thought. It was kind of like a scary thing to get into. Like, oh, we don't have time for that, but you do. It's
right.
Once you get it, you can go. But it impacts everything, especially depending on how healthy your list is. Because if you're sending to a not so healthy list all the time, nobody's going to see anything. So then it's like, a huge domino effect of what's the point. Exactly. So that kind of leads into my next question. What role does segmentation play in maintaining a healthy email list?
Yeah, so again, segmentation just refers to, dividing your list into targeted groups so that you can send that information to that group, that's really valuable and probably, hopefully, personalized to them. So if you are maintaining a healthy email list, then it's going to reflect in your what we call KPIs or key performance indicators. So if you see in your key performance indicators that your audience is not engaged, that people aren't opening your emails or clicking them, then you really should look back and think about segmenting. It's something that is probably reflecting on a larger scale. So that can be sales, opens, clicks, that sort of thing. And then also, it's going to affect your customer journey. So again, if your clients are having, not an ideal experience with your emails, they're going to likely lose trust in you. It's not going to look great for you and your business if you're not providing a stellar customer journey through email. Most people still use email very, very prevalently every single day. So, it's very important that you are thinking about that customer journey and making it personalized to every group that you can. And then you're going to improve engagement in turn because of that. You're going to increase the amount of clicks, hopefully, and then increase whatever your goal is. You're going to be able to increase that through segmentation.
I think that engagement piece too, we've been talking several weeks kind of about the 5 pillars of success, and engagement comes up over and over again, between a practitioner and their patient. And I think specifically in email marketing, one of the beautiful things is that you can really measure that engagement with things like open and clicks, which we'll talk more about in a second. But it's just all about continuing that relationship and all those multiple touch points that people need to have before they, finally, pull their card out and buy something. So just want to reiterate that I think we talk about it a lot, and we will continue to talk about it a lot because it's so important, not only just in e-commerce, but in marketing. It's a really great tool that we have in email marketing to measure those types of engagement. So it kind of leads my next question to you, Courtney, is, what you said KPIs earlier, key performance indicators. What specific metrics are you looking at when you're determining is my email list healthy or not?
Yeah, and I think it's important here to talk about what a healthy email list is. And, basically that's a term used in any email, kind of setting. It just happens to really nicely coincide with wellness practitioners, which is kind of cool. But yeah, if you have a healthy email, it basically what it is, it's consisting of those who are engaged with you and those who are active subscribers who have, come to see your content. And that's, you take away nothing else. That's one of the most important things. People have to want to hear from you. And if you don't gather that information up front, that can really, really hurt your healthy, your email health. And so that's, I would say, foundational to having a healthy email list is, whether you're collecting the emails through a form on your website, have a place where they know that they're going to be contacted by you, whether that's, in your clinic or whatever it looks like. So I'll start there, but some other things that indicate that you have a healthy email list and what you should really be looking at. Number one is email delivery and deliverability. And these are two separate things. Delivery just means the email was successfully delivered. Deliverability is the percentage of emails that are successfully delivered to the inbox of your subscribers. So a healthy email list should have a high deliverability rate. And that's kind of what I was referring to earlier with that company that, they weren't able to send any emails at all throughout the whole company because their deliverability rate had been so badly affected.
Wow.
So that's super important. Open rates, obviously something that you've probably, you're very familiar with, maybe not, but open rates just refer to the percentage of subscribers who opened your emails, and a healthy email list should have, again, a high open rate. Now, that's usually, for health and wellness professionals, that can be around 35%. That's kind of the industry standard. But lower open rate doesn't always mean that your list isn't engaged. If it's incredibly low, maybe a concern, but you want to also look at the click-through rates because, in the same study that I was referring to earlier, they had an open rate of 17%, but they also had a click rate of maybe, I think it was like 12 or 13%.
Wow.
So, and that is a big deal because obviously people are clicking, that means that they're engaging, and it resulted in the high sales that they saw. So the click-through rate is obviously very important. I think the open rate just kind of helps you gauge engagement. But that's something to definitely, two main components to look at. The things that are not, kind of more on the negative side is you want to see if people aren't as engaged, you're going to see high bounce rates and high unsubscribe rates. And so bounce rates are the percentage of emails that were undeliverable and basically bounce back. So maybe these are email addresses that are not legitimate or something like that. And so you have to kind of go through and clean these out. Unsubscribe rates are those who are actually actively opting out of your emails. So the percentage of subscribers who have, taken action to unsubscribe. And so while some unsubscribes are expected, like, we may get one or two every once in a while, a healthy email list should have a fairly low unsubscribe rate. And then the last thing you want to measure is conversion rate. So are people basically giving you, like you said, the key performance indicator that you want? Is that higher sales? Is that, downloading a resource? What's your goal? And seeing and measuring if people are actually doing that as a result of your email. So you should have a high conversion rate.
Yeah, I would say like at the end, I mean, they all play a part in each other, but yeah, that conversion rate is one of the biggest. It's hard to pick like one over the other because they're all so important, but ultimately, like you said earlier, if the click rate's lower, but their revenue's there, then it's hard you can't call that an unsuccessful email. So
Right.
Really important to, I think, look at all those simultaneously together.
Yeah. And I will say that, this sounds like a lot of information, but if you do have like a email software provider, then they help you with these things. So we will get to that in a minute and kind of talk about resources. So don't feel overwhelmed. There are some helpful things that you can do, and we can also help you with this. So
yeah, very good point. So what are the benefits of having a healthy email list for your business?
Yeah, so going back to our pillars that we've been discussing, really the biggest thing is engagement. You're really going to be able to engage your audience, especially if these emails are valuable, they contain valuable content, then people are going to want to open them, and that's the ideal. And so, keeping them engaged with you just builds that relationship. Again, it reinforces your practitioner-client relationship. And that's extremely important. I mean, you want them to come back to you for not only their supplement sales and things like that, but just in general, there's a level of independence that you want them to have, but then you also want to be their trusted resource at the same time. So that's super important. And then also having a healthy email list can help you widen your audience. So if you're able to keep it healthy, then you can continue to build on that. And, I know a lot of practitioners are not just brick and mortar, they're virtual and they want to build their followers or build their list because they are able to provide courses and more evergreen content. And so email lists can only help you do that, which is great. And then the third thing is it's going to help you make money while you sleep. Your emails can really work for you. So if you have a healthy email list and you're really staying on top of this, or your marketing person is, it can really help you. Basically, if you do it right, you can run these emails and they can run for you. Flows can run for you, and you can just let it be. And it's a beautiful thing.
That's what we all want, right? It's more time to do the things that we love. So very well said.
Yeah.
All right, so let's shift a little bit to things that we can do to, get our list healthy. What are some common mistakes to avoid when managing an email list?
Yeah. So I know I think you could probably speak to a couple of these points too. I know you have some experiences. But one thing is, again, failing to segment their list. That's such an important thing. I would say not cleaning your lists, ignoring unsubscribe requests, and then ultimately failing to provide value. So if you're just kind of sending out your thoughts of the day every day, maybe that's valuable to you. Maybe it's valuable to your customers. Who knows? But you know your audience better than anyone, but maybe it's not. And that's something to, always really think about as a foundation of what you're doing. Is this valuable? Everyone's busy. They have a lot of things coming at them. They have social, all the things. So if you're failing to provide value, then the fact of the matter is you're just not going to get those opens and those clicks.
Right. And I think that ties perfectly back to like the segmentation. If I'm in the segmented bucket of somebody who's interested in supplements and you're feeding me content about, I don't know, exercising, and I don't want to pay attention to content around exercising, like I'm not going to open the email. So then I'm not going to click it, and I'm not going to engage, and I'm never going to make it to your cart or sign up for your event, whatever that, action item goal is for the conversion rate. But that value content, and I think we're going to get into content a lot next week, but the value and segmentation like go hand in hand for sure.
Yeah, they do for sure. And, again, sending emails too frequently, it creates email fatigue. Like I was just saying, just make sure that you kind of have a strategy behind these things and you're not just kind of sending things whenever whenever you think of something. It's probably really valuable content, but it's all about the way that you deliver it. And, I think that's something that, again, we at Get Healthy can help you with. So if this sounds daunting to you or anything like that, don't worry. We can help you. And so there's a lot we can do to help with this. And probably your marketing person can help as well. So there are resources out there to really help you maximize these opportunities.
Absolutely. And I'll speak to kind of one more common mistake is the purchasing of email lists, because I can't say this enough or loud enough, because it can be very tempting, I feel like, for organizations to, shell out some money and get this long list of emails. And it's just not right, because you should only be emailing people that want to be emailed. And that's where if you're emailing people that don't want it, you're going to get spikes in spam and complaints. You're just going to hurt your deliverability, which is going to, lessen the chance of your good emails getting to the good inboxes. So it has a really negative effect. And I kind of always call like your list growth number an ego metric, because it really doesn't matter the number. It matters the quality of the people that are engaging with you. It doesn't matter if you've got 1 million people and, only 100 people are interested. That's like people weighing down your list, and it's skewing your metrics a lot. So I just like to reiterate that to people, like, make sure you go through the strategies and the work to get qualified leads, because that's what's going to, get you an ROI on your efforts.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Quality over quantity is a big takeaway as well this week.
definitely.
Mhm.
So what are some effective strategies in building a list and, getting more quality names?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, you can, have an opt-in form. So most software companies, so say you have Klaviyo or you have MailChimp or HubSpot or something like that, they're going to have a built-in form capability. It's usually super user-friendly. And then if you have a Get Healthy store, then you can give us the information that we need, and we can actually insert that onto your store. So if you wanted to do it with your store, you can do it on your main website, of course, as well, and build your list both from your store and your website. Um, that's a great way. Opt-in forms in general are a wonderful tool.
Yeah.
Lead magnets. So basically, kind of offering a free resource, something like maybe an ebook. For practitioners, it might be a guide. I know Tracy kind of referred to this last week about a guide for the home. If if your kids are sick or something, what are the things to have on hand? So something like that they're really going to want is a great way to kind of draw people in. So using that form, like we mentioned, you could say, I have this free resource for you, download it here, and then gather their email that way. So that's a great way. Events are, something that you might consider doing as a business, going to, a business conference or something like that. You might do that as a practitioner, and, gathering emails that way is a great thing to do. You can just, have a physical list of, paper, pen, and just have people write their name down. It's super easy. If you've seen these techniques at conferences that you've gone to as a practitioner, do the same thing, and think about how you can really grow your business that way. And then using a consistent send schedule. So making sure that you are sending at the same time, and so people kind of know when to expect your content. Maybe they look forward to it after a while, and that's really powerful to keeping people engaged over time and building your list. And then you want to make sure that you always test and optimize your emails. So that's something that I always do. Test the links, make sure that send yourself a copy. That's a good idea. Using social channels to capture those emails. So if you have a post, maybe put a link in your bio to your funnel that you've created to collect an email. Maybe you have some other way of gathering it. Use your Linktree. If you haven't installed Linktree yet, that's a great tool for Instagram, for instance, and you can have a collection tool there. And then contests are a great way to also engage people and kind of draw them in. Maybe you give away some free consultations or something like that, and you do a drawing, a giveaway. That's a great way to engage and gather some emails as well. So again, this is a lot of information. So we actually do have a resource on this. If you wanted to dive deeper into these things and maybe kind of get the basics for all of this, we kind of lined it all out for you in a guide, and Amy's going to drop that in the chat. So if you want to use it, you can click on that, and then you can download the free resource. It's an ebook about how to keep your email list healthy. And it's a lot of information here. We kind of just summarize it in that book, and then we kind of go into some deeper detail, not too much, but just enough for what you might need to keep your email list healthy. So
awesome. Well, thank you, Courtney. That is so much great information. Let's kind of summarize it up here. We started with kind of talking about defining healthy. So let's kind of recap healthy versus sick. How would you lay this out for folks?
Yeah, so just to review, you want a high deliverability, you want a healthy open and click rate. So that can look like up to 35% for open rate, and click rate can vary, but I would say if it's over 1%, you're good. Segmenting is a key factor of a healthy email list. Make sure that you are dividing your list into multiple different groups and strategizing how you can send information to those groups. A high conversion rate. So what is your conversion metric? Is it, sales? Is it more leads? What is it? And then low unsubscribe and bounce rates. So, make sure that you are looking at those and making sure that, you kind of analyze the reason why you might be getting unsubscribes and bounces. And then a sick email list, kind of the opposite: low deliverability, extremely low open and click rates, low conversion rates, and high unsubscribes. So, just kind of the basic understanding there. And we do actually have, like I said, resources for all of these things. Amy works with you to kind of strategize and also execute these things. So Amy, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, so we've kind of been talking about this a little bit throughout the weeks, and some of you have started reaching out, but we do have new marketing services, and part of those services are specific around email marketing. So we'll talk a little bit more about content next week and how we can help you if that's a piece of the puzzle that's hard to get started, but we can also just get you going, whether it's within an existing ESP or an establishing an ESP, email service provider. So like Klaviyo, MailChimp, things like that. So we can help you going, get your lists, warm up your accounts, get into all those gritty details. But we do have that service now. So we're happy to work with you if that's a piece of your marketing that you could use help with. So you can always reach out to me directly at amy.kading@gethealthy.store, and we can go from there. So please reach out with any questions. And also, Yes, just posted the link to the ebook. But if you don't get it or you miss it, also reach out to me and be happy to connect you with that. Because yes, we covered lots of great details today. Thank you, Courtney. And I think, really understanding those KPIs is like the first piece, because if you can't measure your email marketing program, like you can't improve it and you can't grow it. So I think this is a great kind of first step in introducing this to folks that maybe have never even thought about email marketing. Because I know it's not, even though you and I think about it all the time, a lot of practitioners have zero time for even, thinking about launching an email program, but the benefits are so high. I've seen email revenue be like 40% of the revenue channel for direct to consumer, and even higher. So when it's done right, it can, like you said, Courtney, help you make money while you sleep. And that's what we're trying to do when we're growing our stores and our online businesses. So
absolutely.
Awesome info. And if there's any other questions besides marketing services or email, you just want to talk to anybody at Get Healthy too, just a reminder that you can find us at gethealthy.store/contact. And please make sure you follow and subscribe to our social channels. And then next week, we've mentioned this, come back. Courtney's going to be here. Yay. And we're going to switch to content and talk about why healthier content means healthier clients. So thank you again, Courtney. This has been great. And we'll see you all next week. Happy Friday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.